Okay, so I'd like to talk about some backpacking knives today. The knives I'm going to cover would be used for, just simply backpacking, not bushcrafting or survival or anything like that. I will name particular brands, but more of like a theory kind of thing. The first thing I'd suggest would be a good, cheap, inexpensive folder. Something like this Kershaw Oh So Sweet. Around 20 bucks. Another $20 option is the Ka-Bar Dozer. Both really good knives. So I'd recommend, that for a pocket. And a lot of backpacking trips, that'll be all you need, especially if you're doing just cooking with a alcohol stove or something like that. You won't be processing any wood or anything. Or if you just prefer a fixed blade and you like to have one, I have a few options that I would say. And they're all pretty cheap, actually. My first one I would say, if you don't mind stainless, would be the Light My Fire by Mora. It's stainless steel and comes with a ferro rod in the handle. So something like that would make a great backpacking knife. The next one I would say would maybe be the Companion HD. It's a little thick, it's kind of heavy, but if you don't mind a couple extra ounces. And another one would be the Mora Bushcraft Black. I said it wasn't a bushcrafting knife, but I really like this knife right here just for backpacking in general, being in the woods. It's light and it's thick, so it'd work in my opinion. Just some cheap backpacking knives that I would recommend. And personally myself, I kind of like this rig if it's not going to be wet or anything. I'd say more a classic one. If I'm going to be doing a little bit of wood carving, I really like the classic Moras. But the reason I went with these is they're all plastic, so if you get them wet, handles aren't going to crack as easy. This one, and this one, the blades probably won't rust. These two are carbon, so you'd want to wipe them down, but still great backpacking knives. And like I said, these aren't for bushcraft. If you're going to do bushcrafting, which I think is something completely different than backpacking, you'd probably want to go with something bigger and heavier, like the LT Wright Genesis. I will say though that I do carry this knife quite a lot when I go backpacking. It's kind of light. It does have kind of a bushcraft feel to it, but I like to wear it around my neck. And that's the LT Wright Patriot. So there are just a few knives that I would recommend for backpacking. Like I said, backpacking is, a day of hike to an overnight, just doing miles. Walking, seeing what you can see, then, setting up camp, cooking, sleeping, hanging out like that. You're not going out to the woods to survive or build shelters or have a big fire or anything like that. You can scrounge enough wood, wrist thick, break it to have a fire. You don't really need to process wood. But these here do good enough job that you could baton to get some kindling to start a fire. And another option that I would say, if none of these are your forte and you just kind of want the bare minimum, but this one weighs a little bit more than the pocket knives and stuff, but its uses are more great, I would say, and that's a Leatherman Wave multi-tool. Has a blade on it, has a rope blade, which is what I like to call it. It also comes with a saw, a file, and of course the pliers, which can be beneficial if you're cooking over top of something, you just want to grab the lid of it, pull it off or something. The pliers can be extremely helpful. And I like to carry mine in this pouch that it came with, and I just threw a fire steel on the side, so that's like a real good option. Myself personally, my favorite multi-tool to take is a good old Victorinox. This is the Farmer, and I like the Farmer because it has the knife and the saw. You could use scissors, but I'd find the saw to be more useful. So there it is. There's just my view on some backpacking knives options. If you just want to go extremely lightweight, I'd say just take a Victorinox or this. Or if you just want just a cutting tool, this knife will do just perfect. So thank you guys, and like, favorite, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.